Hey everyone, Clarence Caldwell here, and it is the start of a new week. Yes, here we are. And I'm going to try to give you something that's a great value to you and may help you this week, as soon as this week, if you follow what we're talking about here. But first of all, I got to tell you that I question your character. I question your integrity. I question your honor. I question your trustworthiness. How does that make you feel? That I question those things about you? Well, guess what? Some people question those things in you, but they won't say it the way I just said it. If people question your integrity, your honesty, your character, your trustworthiness, they won't say it. What they'll do is they'll just distance themselves from you. And they should. Because in a relationship, no one wants to be with someone that they don't trust. In business, no one wants to do business with someone who has a low level of integrity. And a leader cannot really lead effectively if the followers think that they're a flawed character. So having those things in place is very important. And when I say I question that in you, I want you to question it in yourself. You see, it's really important because one of the things that I know happens is that when you surround yourself with people of low caliber character, low integrity, low trustworthiness, what do you think happens? You begin to take that on. That's how I know. You see, when I've been, in working, I've always, whether I've done a great job at my job or very poor job, the one thing that always came out was that I had a high level of integrity, high level of character. Whether the people that were reporting to me said it, or the people that worked with me said it, or the person I worked for said it. Now, it's not because I tried real hard to be a high character. It's something that I don't try very hard to do. And you don't have to try very hard. And I realized what it was. It's because I understood one of the things we're going to talk about tonight. I understood it so well that I use it in everyday life, and it turns into a high level of integrity. I'm going to share that with you because if you question your own integrity, your own character, or if others question it in you, you might want to pay attention tonight. If this is something that interests you, go ahead and hit like, hit wow. Share it with someone, comment below. Let me know that we're doing something that makes a difference for you. And I will tell you, when you surround yourself with the right people, great things happen. You know, some people say, Clarence, I never hear you cuss. You never curse. Well, they haven't been around me when I'm around certain people. You see, I can cuss like a sailor. In fact, I was a sailor. And when I'm around people that are doing that, I find myself getting into that and doing that. And like, so I don't hang out with them very much. But the people I do hang out with, they don't cuss very much. They don't cuss at all. And so it looks like I don't cuss. And I don't typically, but I can. Anyway, enough of that. But that's the importance of who you hang out with, because you are going to become part of, the environment you place yourself in. So one of the things that really affects your character, your integrity, your trustworthiness, I wrote those on the board here. You can see those, I hope. The thing that affects that is what I call your level of your ability to stick by your word. So first of all, what commitments are you making? We're going to talk about commitment tonight because it is so important. And in fact, we're going to just skim the surface in the few minutes that we have together. But if you want to go deeper, you can find it in my book, Escape from Average. Go to clarencecaldwell.com. You can get a copy of it, where I go through this model and a lot of other things associated with commitment. Now, making a commitment is something we all do all the time. And you got to be careful of the commitments you make, because the commitments you make can affect your integrity, your honor, your character, and your trustworthiness. So when I think about commitment, I think of it on a scale similar to this one here, where the C is for commitment, the I is for intention. See, we make decisions all the time, but they're not always commitments. When I decided to wear a white shirt this evening, I had the intention of wearing a white shirt. In fact, it was such a low level of intention that I had a level of apathy around it. I could care less, but it was a decision I made. It wasn't a commitment, it was just an intention. And when the white shirt didn't work out for me, I changed. I put on a blue shirt. So It was just an intention. We make decisions, thousands of decisions every day. And many of them, in fact, most of them should fall in this area. Unfortunately, a lot of times we make a decision and they're taken as commitments by others and they're taken as commitments by ourselves. We commit to things that we really shouldn't be committing to. And when you do that, you begin to overwhelm yourself and you begin to create a kind of a conflict where you've got to break a commitment here and there. When you start breaking commitments, what happens? Low integrity, low honor, low trustworthiness, your character is flawed, at least in the eyes of others. So to maintain that, you really need to understand what's over here. The commitments that you make are very, very important. What makes a commitment? Well, your word, right? Your bond. So if someone asks you out to dinner and they say, can you show up at 8 o'clock? And you say, yeah, I'll be there at 8. Is that a commitment or is that an intention? What do you think? I would bet it's probably an intention. But the person who hears it from you that says, yeah, I'll be there at 8, they may take it as a commitment. So when you show up at 8:15, you've kind of blown it a little bit. So you've got to be real clear, not only with yourself, but with other people. So I had this happen to me quite often. I was almost late everywhere I went. And people thought, gosh, what's wrong with you? You commit and you don't keep your commitments. No, I didn't commit to it. I was just intending to be there at 8. So I've got to be really clear with people up front. Clarence, can you be there at 8? Yeah, I'll be there at 8, but I can't commit to that. Something may come up. I may get held up in traffic. If I'm there late, go ahead and start without me. I'm very clear about that anymore. Because once you are starting to make a pledge, a guarantee, a promise, when you start to make an oath, a vow, this is where your word is bond. That's when you cross this line from intention into commitment. And when you get into the commitment zone, that's when all of this about you, your integrity, your honor, your honesty, your trustworthiness, your character, all of that is at stake when you're in this zone. So be careful when you get into this zone. Most of the decisions you make are over here. And be clear about that when people ask you to make a decision. Now, there's the extreme. Just as there's the extreme on apathy, when you're just have an intention to do something and you don't really care about it, it's just apathy at this extreme. At the other extreme, there's something that I call the pig's commitment. Anybody ever heard of the pig's commitment? Well, I'll explain it to you. Think about breakfast, a bacon and eggs breakfast. Who do you think is more committed to that breakfast? The chicken or the pig? Yes, the pig, of course. Pig gives his life. The pig's commitment is something that you're going to commit so deeply to that you will walk through fire. You will do whatever it takes to make that happen. It could be your kids. It could be your job. It could be anything that you decide. Everybody's pig's commitment is different. And so understanding what that is for yourself allows you to now back off and understand how committed you are to the decisions you make and whether or not it's even in the commitment zone or if it's in the intention zone. Now, I don't want to get too technical and scientific about the decisions we make, but having that internal clock, that internal compass to know that, I'll commit to it, but it's really not the pig's commitment. Knowing that can make a big difference in the way you show up and what you do. Now, how do you find your pig's commitment? I don't have time to share it with you now, but again, as I mentioned, I share all this in my book, Escape from Average. You go to ClarenceCaldwell.com, you can get a copy of that book. And in there, at the end of every chapter, I give you an exercise, a very simple exercise that has you applying what we learn immediately. And in this chapter, chapter 3, I share with you exactly how to find your pig's commitment. What is your pig's commitment? I think you probably think you know what it is right now. And I would venture to guess that it's not what you think it is. So if you go to the end of that chapter and you do that exercise, it's 4 words that you're going to come up with. And that will be your pig's commitment. Now, I give you 2 of those words. So really, all you're going to come up with is the other 2 words. But sometimes it's tough to come up with those other 2 words. Those 4 words together become the basis of what your pig's commitment is. And when you understand what that really is, the rest of this becomes a piece of cake. You don't have to worry about is my integrity intact? Is my trustworthiness intact? All of that just falls into place when you really have an understanding of the decisions you make, the commitments you make, the intentions that you have. When your word is put against it, all of that falls into place. Okay, so that's it for the day. I know I might have gone over 10 minutes. I can't see the clock, but hopefully you've gotten something out of today. We'll try to get back next week. It's not a commitment. My intention is to be back with you next week and do this again on another subject. Again, please like, share, wow, comment, do all the things that would help other people get engaged and become their best as well. All right, thanks a bunch. Remember, love yourself. We'll talk to you again soon.